We've had to switch to another camera. This one is not as good of a quality, I apologize. But we are going to continue at Chapter 4 of the Third Geneva Convention. Medical personnel and chaplains retained to assist prisoners of war. Article 33. Members of the medical personnel and chaplains, while retained by the detaining power with a view to assisting prisoners of war, shall not be considered prisoners of war. They shall, however, receive as a minimum the benefits and protections of the present convention, and shall be granted all facilities necessary to provide for the medical care of and religious ministration to prisoners of war. They shall continue to exercise their medical and spiritual functions for the benefit of the prisoners of war, preferably those belonging to the armed forces upon which they depend, within the scope of military laws and regulations of the detaining power and under the control of its competent services. In accordance with their professional etiquette, they shall also benefit by the following facilities in the exercise of their medical or spiritual functions. A. They shall be authorized to visit periodically prisoners of war situated in working detachments or in hospitals outside the camp. For this purpose the detaining power shall place at their disposal the necessary means of transport. B. The senior medical officer in each camp shall be responsible to the camp military authorities for everything connected with the activities of retained medical personnel. For this purpose, parties to the conflict shall agree at the outbreak of hostilities on the subject of corresponding ranks of the medical personnel, including that of societies mentioned in Article 26 of the Geneva Convention for the amelioration of the condition of the wounded and sick in armed forces in the field of August 12, 1949. The senior medical officer, as well as chaplains, shall have the right to deal with the competent authorities of the camp on all questions relating to their duties. Such authority shall afford them all necessary facilities for correspondence relating to these questions. Although they shall be subject to the internal discipline of the camp in which they are retained, such personnel may not be compelled to carry out any work other than concerned with their medical or religious duties. During hostilities, the parties to the conflict shall agree concerning the possible relief of retained personnel and shall settle the procedure to be followed. None of the preceding provisions shall relieve the detaining power of its obligations with regard to the prisoners of war from the medical or spiritual point of view.